Hello, welcome back to the Chatterbox, a little site for some speech therapy tricks and techniques. Today we're going to talk about probably what most people think of when they think of speech therapy. People think of a speech impediment, and usually the first one that comes to mind is a lisp. There are two kinds of lisps. Lisps affect the S and Z sounds, like for s or a lateral lisp. So the first one I illustrated was a frontal lisp. It's where the tongue is pushing forward between the teeth for S. So a child might say fit instead of sit, or thee instead of see. And the other kind of lisp would be a lateral lisp. So that's where, if you remember the character from Ice Age, Sid the Sloth, he had a lateral lisp. So that's where the back of the tongue is flattening out, Sid instead of Sid, or hit instead of sit. It has a very wet sound. The air is escaping on the sides of the tongues. So the first technique I use to try and target that sound, that S sound, and is to go back to its relative, its closest relative, which is T. So what I do is I have the kids practice saying the T sound. And I tell them that we're working on our T's, not our S's, because as soon as you say S, they're going to say F, or they're going to go back to their old habit because that's S to them. So again, we're working on our T sound, and we want to make a real sharp T. T, t, t. All right, so first we do T, and then we do it again, T, and then we do a few T, T, T. And I cue by chip. Usually by tapping right under my chin to illustrate that your tongue's going right up behind your teeth, t, 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 your top teeth, t, t, t. And then we're going to stretch out our T's. So we're going to go t, 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 t. We're going to stretch out that T. Your child might hear that S sound and go t, t, t. And it's like, no, we're not working on S's. We're working on our T. Let's do it again. T, t, t. What sound does T make? T. And stretch it out. We don't want to say S. We're saying a long T. Another thing I do is I try and pair the sound with an actual sound. So it's not a letter. Again, we don't want to think about our S's. As soon as we say S's, we're going to hear that and again, because that habit, it's just ingrained in your child. That sound is produced that way. Or if you're an adult, it's just your habit. You've made it that way. So we have to work on a sound. So if the t, 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 t still isn't working, I might show a picture of a locomotive, a good old-fashioned train, like on the cover of the book, The Polar Express, and say, we're going to make the train going down the track, t, 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 and the train's going to stop and release steam. And there that steam's released. So the sound, you're making the sound effect rather than the letter sound. Release the steam. And just again, if you want, you can draw a picture of a locomotive and that steam shooting out, or I can draw one for you and put it at the end of this video. And that's another way to really target the S with either the th or the h. You want to make a T, replace it with the T. One other trick that helps if they really can't get that placement right behind their teeth is wash your hands first, or hand sanitizer. And then you're going to take your thumb, and right behind your teeth, there is a bump. That's called your alveolar ridge. And what you can do is take your thumb and rub. So we're going to rub for about 30 seconds, okay? And you want to rub pretty hard. Well, you know, don't hurt yourself, but rub pretty hard so you can feel the pressure. And now when you're done, you should feel it tingling right there. So now you're going to tell your child to touch that. Touch where it's tingling. And that's, we're going to say our T sound right there. And now blow their air out right there where it's touching. Good. And you want to tell your kiddo to make it real strong. Sharp. Sharp's the word I use because it's a pretty high frequency sound. High up there in pitch. Sharp. And push it out, okay? So that's a way to target your S sound. And again, it's not an S, it's a long T. And then once they get it in, you can make that long T sound, then we can start calling it an S, but it's step by step, okay? That's a good place to start. Let me know how it goes, and good luck. Now, I'll leave you to chat. Bye. So a visual cue you might want to use with that T sound again is t, t, t. And I will tap in front of the kiddo to really show t, 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 t. Stretch it out, right? Just like our train goes down the track. T, 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 t. Let the steam out. Hope this helps. Let me know if you have any other tricks that you find really work with your kiddo or your clients, and take care.